Hi everybody, this is Holly and I am on my way to work on a Friday morning. I wanted to make a video because for some of you that are close to me and know me, you know that I'm a news junkie. And I listen to NPR every single morning. Several different shows. And I have been wanting to start making videos regarding, current events, issues, things that you guys are interested in hearing about. So, I figured maybe while I'm driving to work is a good way to do it, since I talk to myself anyway. So, on NPR this morning there was a story about, and I'm sure that you're going to start hearing about it in the news because it's kind of one of those big, hot button, controversial issues. There's a scientist in the United States that has been doing research with the gene modification tool CRISPR, of which I know nothing about. I know very, very basic information about the human genome and genetic modification processes, so it's not like I'm an expert at all. But there was a story earlier this year about a Chinese scientist who had done genetic research using the same modification tool, and he claims that twin girls were born, that he had modified their genetic code in order to make them immune to the AIDS virus. I haven't heard a whole lot about whether or not they've determined that is provable, or if it's just a claim, or if the CRISPR genetic mutation device actually worked. I should call it a genetic mutation repair device, because that's what it's used for. It's used to repair genetic mutations that cause genetic diseases, hypothetically. So anyways, the story that I heard this morning was about a scientist, and I forget it's at Cambridge, so at Cambridge University, who is doing this completely differently. He's not being secretive, he's being completely transparent. In fact, the gentleman from NPR that ran this story was actually allowed to watch him in his lab do these experiments. And when they played, the reason why I'm making this video is when they played the audio from when the journalist was in there in the lab, what he witnessed was the scientist fertilizing several embryos with sperm that had been genetically repaired with CRISPR. And the question that popped in my mind was the reason why this is going to be controversial in general, and the reason why I think I needed to make this video right after hearing this story rather than waiting, is because that is the question, right? If you have all the ingredients for a cake together, the eggs, the milk, the oil, the water, the cake mix, flour, sugar, whatever, vanilla, if it's in there in the bowl, is that a cake? Are all of those necessary ingredients for baking a cake actually a cake if it has not been baked? And scientifically, people would say no, because there are chemical reactions that occur in those ingredients when you introduce heat, right? And so when it's in the oven and that chemical reaction occurs, that's when you have a cake. So, the $10 million question of the morning: if you have the sperm and the egg together in a petri dish, do you have human life? Or do you just have the necessary ingredients that have not quite become a human life, right? So this is the stuff that people get upset about all the time when we talk about genetic research, or if we talk about fertilized eggs that have been frozen for 15 years waiting to be implanted for in vitro fertilization, that kind of thing. Certain people get very, very upset. They're like, you are playing God and you have created this life that you now have in limbo. So I just thought I would make a video because I found it really interesting. I thought that other people might find it interesting as well, and you might wonder or might want to talk a little bit more about that. I think that I'm going to do a little bit more research on CRISPR and how it all works. Not like I'm going to understand it, because I'm not a physicist. Not even close to someone who can do that sort of research. But I'm going to look into a little bit just because it piques my interest. But I'll leave it to you. Do you guys have anything you want to talk about regards to this? Please be kind. Please be nice. People have a lot of different opinions on this matter. And I look forward to talking to you later. Thanks. Have a nice day.